Okay, so Holy Priest, I went from 65 to 70. I've done some things at 70, so I've played around with the talents and abilities as I've been doing. The second part will be me resetting the talents. If you're curious to how I got to what I'm using now and my theory crafting. This part will be the simplified overview, having played around with the talents and abilities. So, welcome to the simplified overview. Holy Priest has been the reliable healer. I would say it's the simplest or simpler um, spec to play for healing, is what I mean by reliable. So, first, let's go over the abilities. For your spammable heal over time, you have Renew. For your large single target heal, you have Flash Heal. For your tank only ability, you have Power Word Shield. For your spammable AoE, you have Prayer of Healing. For your larger AoE heal, you have Holy Word Sanctify. For your raid ability, you have Divine Hymn. For your enhancement ability, you have Divine Word. For your AoE cooldown, you have Holy Word Salvation. For your single target cooldown, you have Guardian Spirits. And for your extra abilities, you have Holy Word Serenity, which is a large single target uh, cooldown, and Prayer of Mending, which is a small AoE heal. So, I wanted to mention that since I've been playing Priest around um, Legion, I had a Priest before that, but I didn't really start to play until Legion when they made the changes to Discipline. Um, Holy um, Power Word Shield was only for Discipline. So it makes Holy that much more um, viable, easy, however you want to think about it, to heal. It was quite the difference to go from Discipline, even how Discipline worked after Legion, to switch over to Holy and not have Power Word Shield. You cannot emphasize enough what it means to heal as a healer, to heal, um, and have a absorption shield while you're trying to heal. So definitely improves Holy quite a bit. Um, Aside from that, you have all of your utilities: Leap of Faith, Chastise, Fade, Desperate Prayer, which is baseline now. I'm pretty sure this was a Holy only ability for a long time, as far as I remember. I think Shadow might have had it, but I don't think Discipline could use it. Mind Control, Mind Vision, Levitate, Psychic Scream, Dispel Magic, Purify, all that. A lot of your utilities are in the Priest tree now, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want. Um, so as far as the talents go, um, immediately after I was done resetting the talents, I got rid of Mass Dispel and improved Mass Dispel. This has been baseline forever, and I've never used it. So it was just taking up a slot on the command bar. So I just decided just to get rid of it. Also got rid of Rhapsody, which works with Holy Nova. I mainly wanted Holy Nova for just so I had a damage AoE. Um, I was most likely going to have to put a talent point into something, so this is perfectly fine. Um, Not really worth taking to in terms of trying to heal with it necessarily. I've tried in certain situations. It has a niche use for that, but it's better just to have for AoE damage. Um, Other than that, I gave up fairly quickly on Lightwell once I actually tried using it and realized more what it did. Lightwell has somewhat of a notorious reputation. In its original um, incarnation, it was not that it was a bad ability in terms of healing, but in how it functioned. You had to click on it in order for it to heal, and that's what made it notorious or just bad to some people in some people's eyes. It wasn't ever so much that it didn't heal for a decent amount; it was just the how it healed. Um, and with this version of Light, well, they kind of kept that notorious, kind of might be good, might be bad to some people. It only works if the player is below 50% health. Now, when you use this, it gives you a buff that tells you how many charges it has, and I watched it in a few different situations, and it just did not do anything. I mean, it didn't heal a couple people and then went away. I mean, it did not do anything. So I gave up on this fairly early because I wanted to try other things. Um, I got to the bottom of the tree fairly quickly. So I swapped it out for Restitution. After Spirit of Redemption expires, you will revive at up to 100% health based on your healing done during Spirit of Redemption. After reviving, you cannot benefit from Spirit of Redemption for 10 minutes. Now, the overall idea of this, I like. In practice, there's a few drawbacks. When most people see you die and the Spirit of Redemption, they will, in PvP, generally mount up and run off to do something else, because standing around is generally considered a bad thing in PvP. However, there were a few, more than a few, that were smart enough to wait until the, I think it's like 10 seconds was over and then killed me again. Um, there's that. There's also the drawback that when you are in Spirit of Redemption, it does not let you heal yourself. You have to heal someone else in your party and or raid. So, I guess it is a holy only ability. There we go. 15 seconds. Yeah, you cannot move, attack, or move, attack, be attacked, or be targeted by spells or effects, and your healing spells cost no mana. When the effect ends, you die. It doesn't specifically say you can't heal yourself. However, take my word for it, you cannot heal yourself. So there's a couple ways to there's a couple ways to get around that, or to at least try to deal with it. What I started doing was using Divine Hymn, which has a 40-yard range. So you're going to target as many players as possible as any ability would. Not many abilities are going to go beyond 40 yards, and if they do, they're going to be like a hunter ability or something. So it's going to be something that's more specific to a spec. Um, Aside from that, I'm usually, I want to say, around 5% health, maybe give or take. Usually fairly low, like one shot, and one shot will kill me. I'm dead. So what I started doing is, as quickly as possible, using Desperate Prayer and Holy Word Serenity. And that will at least get me up to around 50%, providing you haven't used Holy Word Serenity on a target. If you can heal people in your group, this works fairly well. You basically just you go from Spirit of Redemption just to right back to where you were. Basically, you can just carry on. If it doesn't work, you kind of have a small window you need to heal and then move generally. In PvP anyway. In dungeons, it hasn't really been an issue, of course. In PvP, though, there is some drawback with this. So you kind of have to get used to, doing something. And there were a few different times where I died and everyone just kind of moved on, running to a base or, running to do something else. So I was just kind of there by myself. So there were a few times I didn't have any choice. I just kind of had to wait until it was over. And then I either died again or I had to use, as I said, Desperate Prayer, Holy Word Serenity, all of that. I changed how the trees kind of, the direction the trees went. I had increased the damage of Holy Fire. I don't really use Holy Fire. So I went with, I had already had Say Your Prayers, which affected Prayer of Mending. So I took Answered Prayers, which I'm not entirely sure what this does. It triggers, so after Prayer of Mending has healed 50 times, you'll get a buff that will tell you how many times it's healed. It doesn't go away, it's there. You get 8 seconds of Apotheosis, which was one of the choices you could have taken instead of Holy Word Salvation. Reset the cooldown of your holy words and enter a pure holy form for 20 seconds, increasing the cooldown reductions to your holy words by 300% and reducing their cost by 100%. So that seems straightforward. It seems like it reduces the cooldown of your abilities. I have tried using my holy words, so Holy Word Serenity, Holy Word Salvation, Holy Word Sanctify, Holy Word Chastise. I've tried using all those before this effect and after this effect, and it seems to make no difference. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm not understanding this. 8 seconds is a very short time to try to use an ability for an effect, a passive effect. Because as I said, you have the buff, so you can see when it's going to happen. Now, whether that happens at a convenient time when you actually need to be using your Holy Word abilities, is kind of trial and error. Um, for right now, I'm just keeping it because I need to put points into something to keep this, and this is the better of the two abilities. I'm just not clear on what this does. It's a really kind of strange ability. Um, I don't know if you were taking it for the full 20 seconds, if and then just kind of running through your rotation. I'm thinking the durations may be too short, and that's what I'm having trouble with. 8 seconds is a very short window for an effect. Um, so, as I said, I'm just kind of keeping it right now, thinking that maybe I'll end up in a situation where I'll kind of stumble on and realize what it kind of realize the benefit of it. Because I understand it reduces the cooldown of your Holy Word abilities. I'm just not understanding kind of, is that before you use them? Is that after you use them? Do you have to have them on cooldown and use, one of their um, corresponding abilities that interact with the cooldown? Um, I'm just not. I'm just not completely sure. I've tried it both ways. Um, so after Lightwell, I played around with. I swapped out Holy Word Salvation. I thought this was going to be a big AoE heal that would um, kind of save the group from wiping, is what it seemed like. However, you have to bear in mind two things. It applies Renew and 2 stacks of Prayer Mending. So essentially heal over time abilities or smaller healing abilities. Um, so the best way I figured out to use this is either at the beginning of a skirmish, like towards the beginning if you're in Eye of the Storm and you've just started fighting over the plague, or in a skirmish in Warsong Gulch when the match first begins, or shortly after. If you wait too long and you try to use it, again, to kind of prevent your team from wiping, it's not going to work. Renew and Prayer Mending just aren't strong enough on their own. The other thing is the cooldown is a bit long. Even with its abilities, Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify, reducing the cooldown by 30 seconds. I've even tried to keep Holy Word Sanctify off cooldown so I could keep using it. And from my using it, I would say you're going to have a minimum of 5 minutes, which is not bad considering what it does, but you will have at least a minimum of a 5-minute cooldown. You probably won't be able to get it down much more past that. I think if it was a 10-minute cooldown, it would be more balanced considering what it does. It does some initial healing, which is fairly low when you consider some of the other abilities you have, and everything it's doing. Um, it's not you use it, you don't, it's not a um what is the druid, like tranquility or um healing tide totem or something like that, where you use it and you get this big burst of healing to your group. It's not that. It's more of you use this and you can focus on using some of your other abilities for a few seconds, which is still useful. It just may not be useful in the same way as you might be thinking with another healing class. if that makes sense. Um, Apotheosis, it just requires kind of timing and abilities like this. I just don't. I just don't do very well with. It's kind of a coordination thing. So Holy Word Salvation just seemed better. And I was kind of excited to play with this when I was going through and setting the talents. I thought it was going to be really good. And in its own way, it is. It just works differently. When you see the cooldown, you expect the ability to do a certain thing. And it doesn't do that in the same way that, as I said, it might for um, another healing class. I think Tranquility was 10 minutes and was much more effective as an AoE heal than this this uh, this is. So I had swapped it out. I was looking around. I had realized I didn't take Prismatic Echoes, which increases the healing done by your mastery. So that seemed worthwhile to take. I had taken Everlasting Light um, until I realized it only worked with heal. I don't use heal. Um, Trail of Light was um, kind of, it was oddly worded and didn't work exactly how I thought it was going to. There was an old talent in the previous talents that we had that did something similar to this, where after you used Flash Heal, when you used it on a different player, it would still heal the last player that you had used Flash Heal on. I think it had a um, like you had to do it in like 10 seconds or something, um, but it would still heal. Um, why it says replicated instead of just like duplicated or something, that kind of is odd wording. But it just, I don't use Flash Heal all that often. And when I did, this just didn't seem like it was making much of a difference. So I got rid of those. I debated about Symbol of Hope. I don't really need anything that regenerates mana. Mana has not been an issue. However, this has the added effect of uh, reducing the cooldown of major defensive abilities. So I went back and forth on whether that was worth it. And for 3 minutes, I kind of decided it was not. It's a weird thing to have two different abilities in one spell like this to do two different things. I guess it makes a certain amount of sense. If you're regenerating mana, which is supposed to target healers, your DPS would probably need their defensive abilities either reset or their cooldown reduced. So, in a sense, for raiding, you'd probably want to take this because it would make more sense for what you were doing. For raiding and dungeons, it does not. Um, so then, as I was looking at the talents I hadn't taken, when I looked above Prismatic Echoes, Gales of Song increases Divine Hymn. Divine Hymn heals for 50% more. Stacks of Divine Hymn increase healing taken by an additional 2% per stack. So Divine Hymn was always your big your raid cooldown. So it was your big heal. When I used it in PvP, I was a little um, disappointed. It didn't seem like the big raid cooldown that it was before. So I took this just to kind of help buff it up a little bit. As I said, I'd rather take a passive that increases a spell I already have than just take another spell. So that, along with Prismatic Echoes, seemed like a good passives to take, good talents to take. And then, so the very last talents are actually pretty good for Holy. Some of the other ones that lead to them um, are kind of lackluster depending on what kind of build I suppose you're trying to do. So I did eventually take Holy Word Salvation back just because um, I wanted to play around with it. I like the idea of what it does. Um, like I said, I just was it just you have to kind of play around with it to see where the benefit is for it. Using a big cooldown at the beginning of a fight isn't always the best way to use a cooldown. Um, you can overheal and then you're wasting healing, and that's typically not good um, unless you have some ability that generates overhealing into a shield or something. There are a few in the game. However, being that these are smaller heals and more heal over time, that is not so much of an issue. So it's more of a proactive rather than just a reactive ability. Um, so aside from that, and then the last one I took was Divine Word. Um, so I haven't played with this too long. It's kind of a thunder focus tea, I think is what monks have. Where you kind of get to choose what it will do. I didn't have an enhancement ability, um, and having leveled my shaman, maybe that was it. I was used to having unleashed life, um, so I kind of wanted something else. Um, so this works perfectly fine. Sanctify does work a bit weird with this, in that depending on what you're doing, um, it doesn't leave anything on the ground just by default as the ability by itself. In PvP, you can take Sanctified Ground. Holy Word Sanctify blesses the ground with divine light, causing all allies who stand within to be immune to all silence and interrupt effects. Last 5 seconds. Um, if you use Divine Word, um, Sanctify blesses the target area, healing up to 6 allies for 29,000 over 15 seconds. So you kind of have to remember what it's doing when. Um, Usually healers have one ability that has a target area effect. Um, I took it more for that and chastise. When you use, well, it increases your damage by 30%, and Smite has a 40% chance to apply Holy Fire. So as I said, I'm not really using Holy Fire. I will use Shadow Fiend and Shadow Word Pain to keep a rogue or a feral druid out of stealth again, or a healer or something, just to kind of help add pressure or just do a little bit of damage. I use Chastise quite a bit, so I do try to use Smite to keep it off cooldown. Um, it's the only one that only has one ability that reduces its um, cooldown, which is fine. It's simple enough to use. Um, so far that has worked out perfectly fine. I just have to remember to use it. Um, and I think that was about it for the holy talents. Um, for the priest talents, as I said, don't really think I made too many changes. I did take leech instead of empiric embrace. It does work with um, causing you to heal with single target shadow. I thought it did. I thought it was shadow and healing. Maybe it was just shadow. Regardless, the leech works a little bit better. I do find there are occasions, depending on what map you're on in PvP, where I need healing and kind of things are on cooldown. Um, the shield, power word shield is on cooldown, desperate prayers on cooldown, um, holy word serenity is on cooldown. You can't always stop and just heal yourself with flash heal. Again, renew is over time, um, and that's about the only. Everything else is kind of an AOE. So there are rare occasions. So a little bit of leech is not a bad thing. And what I liked was the passive below it does something based on which one of these you took. So it actually increased my leech even more. So, and leech works with damage and healing. So whatever I do, I'm healing myself a little bit. And yeah, I took Throws of Pain as I got more talent points. Um, I did just take Void Shift for Shadow, and it's actually not a bad ability. It makes me look like I'm healing more than I am because when you swap health, it shows as you've healed for that much, which is kind of comical, I think. Um, yeah, didn't take Divine Star or Halo. I've played around with those with Discipline and Shadow. Just wanted to kind of give those a break. Same thing with Mind Games. Didn't take any of this. I used this on Shadow and Discipline. Um, so, yeah. So there you go. So as far as the PvP talents, Prayer of Mending's healing is increased by 50%, and its jump range is increased by 10 yards. Um, Leap of Faith removes all movement, impairing effects, and increases your next heal on that target by 100%. Yeah. And now the second part where I reset the talents. Okay, so I have played Shadow from 60 to 65 and felt like that was enough for the time being. Even though the queue times for DPS have been fairly short, I want to see what Holy Priest is like since I've already seen Discipline. I'll probably be playing Healer for rated PvP when I reach max level, so it'll either be Discipline, Holy, or a combination of both. So, felt like I should check it out now, so I had some time to play around with it. So, this is the default um, talent that I was given. I don't think I've switched over to Holy since the pre-patch.
So this is completely like a default setup. So I'm going to reset that. And then we will go back through. So I know I want Dispel. No, I want Improved Purify. Yes, okay. It, interestingly enough, only has this effect of removing the diseases for Shadow, which is not all that helpful. I have discovered. So you have Renew, Prayer of Mending by default. Um, I should also somewhat apologize in advance if I sound different or congested. I woke up with a bit of a kind of a allergy situation. So, improved flash heal increases the healing time by flash heal by 50%. That we probably want. Casting flash heal on yourself reduces the damage you take by 10%. Each time Shadow Word Pain deals damage, the healing your next flash heal is increased by 1% up to a maximum of 50%. Okay. Do I want Holy Nova? Do I have Holy Nova? Yeah, one time I did have Holy Nova. I'm going to take that because I don't really have it on anything else. Every 5 seconds that you cast Holy Nova, the damage of your next Holy Nova is increased by 10%, and its healing is increased by 20%. So that could stack up 20 times. Oh, okay, so that's what this is. Rhapsody. Okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and grab that, sure. Reduces all magic damage taken by 3% after being struck by a melee or range critical hit. Heal for 20% of the damage taken over 6 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty good. Prayer of Mending does 45% increased healing on the initial target. We'll go ahead and take that. Very healer focused here. We haven't even went over into the shadow talents yet. Reduces cooldown of Psychic Scream. I have Psychic Scream, right? Yeah. 45 seconds by 15 seconds. Oh, let's see how far down we can get here. Yeah, Leap of Faith. Um, Holy is more your typical kind of healing class, so it's a little bit more centered just on that. So I really don't need to take a lot of other things as far as like utility or damage. For 12 seconds after casting Power Word Shield, you deal 10% increased damage and healing with Smite of Holy Nova. Reduces the target's physical damage taken by 5% for 15 seconds after critical heal with Flash Heal, or Holy Word Serenity. Holy Word Serenity. There we go. So remember that Holy Priest kind of thing is your Holy Word abilities. They kind of work off of each other. So, the Rose, yeah, Holy Word Chastise, Serenity. Yeah, yeah. So, Masty spell. Do we need Masty spell? Reduce cooldown and leap of faith by 30 seconds. Okay, now's where we might have to start working in the shadow talents. So I'm gonna take Psychic Voice. Activating Fade removes all snare. Yes. This is the amount of damage taken to break your. Yes. Mind control, dominate mind control. Yes. I know Vampiric Embrace says it works with damage or healing. I'm still just a little leery of taking it when I'm not actually doing damage per se. Um, yeah. So, do I need power infusion? Not really. Nothing really has that long of a cast time. Reduces cooldown and leap of faith. Haven't really been using it on anything up until this point, so I'm not entirely sure. Yes, we'll probably go ahead and take that. Well, about 75% health, cast time your next flash heal per 5%. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put 2 in that. Uh, yeah, I'm just double checking here to make sure. I'm gonna take Move with Grace just for PvP. Power Word Shield and Leap of Faith increase the target's movement speed by 40 per second. For yes. After damaging or healing a target below 30% health gain, 5% increased damage and healing for 8 seconds. Do I need to take that? What? Increase the target's movement speed by 75 for 4 seconds. 3 more is all I need. Um, do I need Mass Dispel? That is the question. I haven't taken it on anything else. Um, Cooldown is reduced and its cast time is reduced by 1 second. I'm thinking just to take it on something to play around. See how well it does actually work. Uh-huh. One more. And I can unlock the next row. They don't make this easy, do they? So, reduces your target's movement speed by 75% for 4 seconds. So, okay, I'll take that. Because I assume it affects most all of my damage abilities, so. That has kind of been a problem with Shadow, is trying to keep targets away from you. So Twist of Fate we looked at, Throws of Pain. Yeah, mana. Okay, so damage you take reduces the cooldown of Desperate Prayer based on your based on the amount of damage taken. 20% of heal or flash heal healing on other targets also heals you. that could actually be very good. I'm going to take that. Divine Star or Halo? Actually going to take neither. I'm actually going to skip those for the moment. Your healing spells and might have a 4% chance to make your next Flash Heal instant cast, costs no mana, stacks up 2 times. It increases the maximum health gain from Desperate Prayer by 8%. Um, okay, so to take, what does this do? So, a word of holy power that heals the target for 5,146, so a large amount. If the target is below 35% health, Holy Power Word Life heals for 400% more. The cooldown of your Holy Word Life is reduced by 20 seconds. So, isn't that what... Yeah, I mean, I've got Holy Word Serenity, so I'm good. I don't know if I need that. So I'm going to take Twist of Fate, just so I can take Fade, Crystalline Reflection. Um, 2 more. What do I want to put 2 more into? Uh, just as cooldown of Fade by... So, gotta remember, I don't have... Well, hold on now. Power Word Shield instantly heals the target and reflects 12%. So do I have Power Word Shield? Before we get carried away here, do I have Power Word Shield? I do. Okay. Holy did not used to have Power Word Shield. So, yeah. So I'm going to put those two. I'll put one into Angelic Bulwark and the other into Improved Fade. I feel good about that. Yeah. Okay. Now for the Holy talent. So Holy Word Serenity, of course. Prayer of Healing, yes. Spirit Guardian, um, maybe, possibly. Somewhere you can. Hold on, I want to see something here. Somewhere, yeah, I was gonna say you can get Lightwell back, can't you? Yes, yes, you can. I'm gonna take that if when and if I get a when I get the chance, because I didn't really get to play with Lightwell um, all that much. I just started. I just made my first priest when they removed that. When I started playing priest, they use chakrams. So for those of you that remember chakrams, um, cleanses the target, incapacitating them for 4. So do I need that as like a stun? Possibly. Yeah, probably worth taking. Stuns the target for 4 seconds and is not broken by damage. Yes. Your healing. On allies with your renew is increased by 6%. Yes. Increases the damage of holy fire by 25%. Sanctify. Yes. Heals the target for allies within 30 yards of the target for. I don't know. Prayer of Healing has a 40% chance to apply a 6-second renew to the ally. Yes. Prayer of. Wait. Prayer of Healing. That heals. Okay. Power Word Sanctify increases the healing done by Prayer of Healing by 50% for 15 seconds. I feel like the renew is better. I've had this. I thought it was on Power or Prayer of Mending, where it had a chance to leave a renew behind, and it was really good. So that's fine. That's our AOE, our small AOE heal. So that's fine. With Power Word Sanctify or Holy Word, or Serenity or Sanctify. Finish their cooldown, you emit a burst of light that heals up to 5 injured for. Okay. Interesting. Sure, I guess. Prayer of Healing heals for 30% more to the most injured ally it affects. Yes. When you cast Heal or Flash Heal, 80% of the healing is. Okay. When you cast Heal or Flash Heal, 80% of the healing is duplicated essentially to the previous target you healed with Flash Heal. Okay. Divine Hymn, yes, that's our big cooldown. You regenerate mana 10% faster. Haven't really had any issues with mana. On Discipline or Shadow. Your Prayer of Mending has a 12% chance to leave a renew. There we go, on the target that it heals. When Prayer of Mending jumps to a target affected by your renew, the target is healed for. No, I would prefer to leave renews around. That could be quite helpful in PvP. Heals for 4% more for each bounce remaining. Yes. Jumps 1 additional time. 2 additional times. I didn't take this for. Alright, I took it and then swapped it out for something else on my Shaman. Unless you're raiding, you really don't need an ability that restores mana. They each recover 60-second cooldowns. And regenerate. Yeah, I was gonna say regenerate 50% of their missing mana over. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really see where that would be much of a benefit for dungeons or maybe Mythic Plus dungeons. Just regular dungeons and PvP, probably not as much. Divine Hymn heals for 8% more. Stacks of Divine Hymn increase healing taken by an additional 1%. Heal restores up to 50% additional health based on your missing mana. Increases the critical strike chance of Flash Heal and heal by 8%. And now I need to take something else. So, okay, here, let me see. Guardian Spirit, sure. When Guardian Spirit saves the target from death, it does not expire. When Guardian Spirit expires without saving the target from death, reduce the remaining cooldown by 60 seconds. Guardian Spirit also grants you 100% of its effect when used on an ally. To watch over a friendly target for 10 seconds. Increases healing received. The spirit sacrifices itself and restores the target 40% health. I think the cooldown is probably going to be better. Also grant you 100% of its effect when used on an ally. I don't know, that could be good in PvP. Might take that just to play around and see. Increase the duration of Spirit of Redemption, which is our like cheat death. Increase the duration of Spirit of Redemption by 50% and the range of its spells by 50%. As a Spirit of Redemption, you may sacrifice your spirit to reincarnate an ally, putting yourself to rest. Okay. Increases damage of your holy fire 25%. Well, I need two more, and that would be two more, so sure. Okay. Critical heals from Flash Heal and Heal increase your healing done by your next Holy Word spell by 10%, stacking up to 2 times. Critical heals from your Flash Heal and Heal increase your healing done by your next Holy Word spell by 10%, stacking up 2 times. Okay. Reset the cooldown of your Holy Word spells and enter a pure holy form for 20 seconds, increasing the cooldown. Reductions to your holy words by 300% and reduce their cost by 100%. Heal all allies within 40 yards and apply renew and 2 stacks of holy word bending for each of them. That could be really good. I like that. That could be really good in PvP. That kind of replaces what I would have used like Halo for. Yeah. 40 yards. So yeah, that's pretty good. Renew instantly heals your target for 10% of its periodic effect. Increases healing done by Renew by 35%, but decreases its base duration by 3 seconds. Prayer of Mending has a 50% chance to not consume a charge when it jumps to a new target. I don't know if there's much of a benefit there. Because you've got to think about, you're going to be reapplying the ability just as part of your rotation. So you kind of want it to fall off at some point, so you're not wasting the effect. Increases healing by 10% on friendly targets at or below 50% health. Increases healing by 10% on at or below 50% health. Okay. The cooldown of your holy words are reduced by an additional 10% when you cast the relevant spells. So as I was saying, they kind of work off of one another. So cooldown reduced by 6 seconds when you cast heal or flash heal. Cooldown reduced by 6 seconds when you cast prayer of healing, and by 2 seconds when you cast renew. Cooldown reduced by 4 seconds when you cast smite. So, yeah. Circle of healing. I didn't take circle of healing. Did I? No. I don't think so. No, there it is. Circle of healing. Yeah, no, I didn't take circle of healing. Reduces the cooldown of holy word. Sanctify, prayer of mending reduces the cooldown of your holy word. Serenity and holy word fire reduces the cooldown of power word. Chastise. Okay, so took that. Renew instantly heals the target for 10% of its periodic effect. Space duration is okay, so its periodic effect lasts for 15 seconds. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. That works perfectly fine. A 15% chance not to consume a charge when it jumps to a new target. So close to getting light well. So increases healing done by 10% on a target. Increases healing by 10% on friendly targets at or by 50% health. Critical heals from flash heal or heal increase the healing done by your next holy word spell by 10%, stacking up 2 times. Casting holy word spell increases your healing on your next heal or flash heal by. Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking this is going to be more beneficial, and flash heal reduces the cast time of your next heal by within 20 seconds by 30%, increases your healing time by 50% seconds of 2 times. Okay, we're going to take light well. Creates a light well every 1 second. The light well will attempt to heal party and raid members within 20 yards that are lower than 50% health for a large amount over 6 seconds. Light will last for 3 minutes or until 15 heals are expended. Okay. So 3 more. The cooldown of your holy word by an additional 10% when you cast a relevant spell. When you use Holy Word spell, you have a chance to summon an image of the Naru at your side for 15 seconds. When you cast a spell, the Naru will cast a similar spell. The effectiveness of your next Holy Word, Serenity, Sanctify, or Chastise is increased by 50% and grants a corresponding divine favor for 15 seconds. Increases your damage by 30%. And Smite has a 40% chance to apply Holy Fire. Bless the target area, healing up to blesses the target area. Healing up to 6 allies for 13,500 over 15 seconds. Flash heal, heal, and renew. Heal for 30% more. Have a 20% increased chance to critically strike and cost 20% less mana. That is complicated. Holy Word, Serenity, and Holy Word, Sanctify, grant an additional charge. That I like. After Spirit Redemption expires, you will revive at up to 100% health based on your healing done during... Okay, after reviving, you cannot benefit from Spirit of Redemption for 10 seconds. That is probably more helpful. So... okay, we'll take that. After your Prayer of Mending heals... After Prayer of Mending heals 100 times, grant... Apotheracy? Okay. Did I take that? I did not. So that is not going to be much of a benefit. Deal 25% additional damage to targets affected by your Holy Fire. Okay, so the final one here will probably be the next thing I take. So, yeah, let's add changes and see. Okay, there is Lightwell, which we need to move. Probably there. And then, let's see, Wayward Salvation. Probably there. Power Shield. I may have went just a tad bit overboard with the abilities. I am now starting to realize. Yeah, so heal we don't use. Okay, so yeah. So there we go. Did I... Yeah. Actually, I should probably reset this one. What's a passive? Spirit, whoa. Ability with a 2-minute cooldown. Okay, yeah, I've played with that before. Um, Power Word Shield reduces the physical damage taken by 50% while the shield persists. 2 charges. Uh, hmm. That could be good. I like that. So, paramedic healing is increased range. Removes all movement power. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So there you go. There are the reset talents for Holy Priest. Hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.